We are back aboard the newly christened SCS Venerator, Heavy Mark II Venerator. And oh, we've got Red Raiders in the base. We have an attack. This guy shooting the green lasers is just a friendly scientist from another race, and he's been obliterated. Oh my god. We were using him to trade. Well, we picked up his unique technology at least. Photon field projector. The Alethea helping us here. She is more of a dedicated science ship. We've gone more combat focus. Let's get the last of this Red Raider. We were rudely interrupted in our intro. But the Red Raiders certainly know where our base is. Now, the purpose of my visit here home was to plan a new starship. We have access to the new hull. Yeah, we're good. You're all good? We're on fire. Up until this point, I have just been building my ship by the seat of my pants. Now we are going to use the planning mode to design our new Explorer class ship, so that we know exactly how much of the resources we require to build this bloody thing, and building it scrap by scrap like we did with the Venerator. This ship is going to be called the Perambulator, which means to take a casual stroll for the sake of walking, or to explore an uncharted territory. Such the Perambulator will look to have a fair amount of firepower in the form of all Mark II turrets, but this is by no means the final design. It's just going to give me a rough indication of how much we need to engineer this ship to manage heat, and how much resource. I'm going to make her look like a glorious eagle. A big chunk. We have fitted 2 missile tubes, and I will fit fixed plasma when the final. No real goals today, apart from destroy more pirates and take their stuff. We will try and remove the shield off of this orbital platform here. Every time we've come here, it's been a battle zone. Well, let's see how we face up against now an elite destroyer and its entourage. The elite destroyers had shields last time I played this, in the last episode. In the last episode, we went for a massive voyage into the unknown reaches far to the north, by accident. We managed to find some interesting stories and a system that held a Preafiel's race that was obliterated by their neighbor out of fear that they would one day be hostile. And all they did was say hello. So the Heavy Venerator is holding up in combat much better than the previous iteration. But we will soon find out when we face the actual destroyer itself, and not just the escort fighters. Its weaponry doesn't seem to be very damaging. It just comes in and then flies away. So I do wonder what it's packing. Shields up. What are you doing, mate? Backing up towards the star. He's not leaving us much room to move. Shields deflecting all of our fixed plasma. Now it's just me and him, solo. We've had a drastic increase in our crew efficiency, so we get to battle stations very quickly now. Yeah, he's got a beam weapon. Dangerous stuff. The problem is the AI with the ship is not aggressive enough to use the beam weapon. He should be charging straight at me and trying to keep me in range. Let's go and remove the shield from this orbital platform. We have a frigate inbound. The network structures are still beaming their energy into space. Let's try and remove them. Our engineer has a much better skill now. They've convinced the structures that the station is no longer in orbit, and they have stopped transmitting their signal. The shield's down. The station is uninhabited, although it may have previously had a small crew. The interior looks very much like a first attempt at space travel, well made but lacking experience. Most of the equipment is scientific in nature, collecting basic observations on the nearby star variations. One obvious recent addition is a large module collecting the from the planet's surface and using it to generate the protective shield. Technically, it is quite illuminating, very advanced by our standards, although the effort and technology used to protect this station is What did we learn? Not much. Study of the generator on that ship allow us to research more powerful shield tech. And we're returning back to this system that had a station that I was too scared to get close to because it launched lots and lots of fighters after us that pursue us all around the system. I think the heavy venerator will be up to the task. As you can see, she has quite a lot of interceptors, but we now have faster turret speed, and more turrets than when we first encountered this. It's a very large station. Design unlike anything we've seen yet. What sort of weapons does it have? Lots of plasma turrets. But it doesn't appear to have anything long range besides the fighter swarm. So if we can shoot that arm off, that will cease. I think we might be here for a while. Fixed Plasma trying to get a bead on. This one has taken an incredible amount of time. We might be here a little bit early for our power level, I think. But we still took it down. Anything to learn from that? Unfortunately, no fighter bay. I would have loved to grab another component. A fortified tunnel at the base of a large mesa was buried centuries ago by a rock slide. In the past few decades, erosion effects have re-exposed it. Deep within, the team finds an old research facility, probably from mid-Empire. After an investigation of the surviving equipment, it seems likely that this facility worked in genetic modification. Unfortunately, the genetic material have degraded to the point that there is no hope in determining the nature of the modifications or even the species. But a large device connected to the storage units attracts Ensign Ray's attention. The transcriber could take patterns in DNA or species equivalents and record them. The pirates are hot on our heels once more, but we refuse to pay them gold for any safety. The only thing they need to do is stay away from us. Uh-oh, I know what that means. That's Whiskermug! Hello! He's the bane of pirates. He obliterated a pirate fleet last time. And it seems he's doing a better job this time. So we are just going to mop up the proceeds. Glorious explosion as the reactor on the pirate bark goes up. He's fighting 6 pirates single-handedly and they aren't even trying to fight him back. They don't know what to do. The sheer power of the pink and blue. That was extremely lucrative. Let's stay with him. He's chasing someone down. They're running like hell. 4 pirate ships defeated, 1 running for his life, and this one here extremely damaged. And Whiskermug is chasing them out of the system. We could almost build our new ship with all that. He's chasing him off into... Despite the unfriendly welcome above the planet, the survey team is permitted to land without incident atop a peripheral government building. Ensign Triton arranges a direct link with the leaders. This planet survived the collapse of the fallen empire with minimal economic damage. Their proximity to a Devout stronghold discouraged other factions from trying to seize the world, but the Devout have exerted their influence and economic power on the planet's populace to encourage conversion. Already a local mission of the Devout has won several prominent political positions. Their future has already played out on other nearby worlds. Within a few years, the Devout will have complete control, and the previously tolerated beliefs will be deemed heretical. Even speaking with the team is a significant risk. The minister pauses for a long time before glancing downward and announcing that diplomatic protocol requires presenting a gift to a new alien first contact. Now Venerator must depart from orbit immediately. Have the team return to the ship. So they literally did it based on their cultural beliefs. Hello, thank you. More flotsam detected. These are usually experiments of some description. We haven't yet worked out what exactly their purpose is. Another one aboard. Beautiful looking ship. We're back in the system where the planet has heavy AA defense, and I'm just going to try and see if we can land. These guys are not really concerning for us anymore. We just have to get them away so we can land. We're about a third of the way through our crew complement, so we will have to consider going home shortly. Very reactive turrets now. I quite like them. The Mark II plasma cannons just have enough oomph to make it feel worthwhile. As soon as the survey lander enters the atmosphere, Neil takes the comms and opens a channel. After a series of Devout-themed challenge questions, the lander is permitted to access to a pad atop the main research facility. He explains that it is not unusual for new unmarked converts to travel with an escort. The Devout do not encourage independent thinking, so unless the alarm is raised, they should not be challenged. Yeah, so that gift we were given had a little message saying, hey, meet me here and I'll let you onto the planet. Once inside, Neil accesses the computer network and provides a direct feed to Venerator. The network directory is large and organized in an ecclesiastic hierarchy. With only a short time before the team must return to the ship before the defenses are alerted, a few areas seem particularly interesting. What one do we want? Let's take a defense system. The database is large, but Ensign Glees begins transmitting it through the main antenna. Hopefully no one wonders why the research lab is transmitting sensitive weapons data to an enemy vessel. This report is a long series of observations spanning at least decades of a number of dwarf stars. One of the recent data sets is highlighted. The Star Lance has arrived and it points at the Amber Jewel. The report is written in eschatological language that Ensign Triton has difficulty parsing, even myself, even with the translator. The salient point is, Kyrnan has defiled the ice tomb. They do not understand that what they have stolen. They dance like... Returning to base to inform our boss of what's happening. Given the increased threats facing us from multiple factions, I have signed in a limited alliance with the Gorir. Despite some questions about their motivations, it is the least bad option available. We will be providing them with redacted logs from Venerator. They will continue to provide information related to this universe and the remnants. They have also given us a loan of some resources for upgrades to be repaid at a future date. We need all the friends we can get, and they already know where we are. My thinking as well. Even if we find another potential ally in this region, I don't want to advertise where we are, or how few ships we currently have. True. I've set aside some initial resources the Goria have delivered for Venerator. Silver, titanium, and iridium. That custom paint job, batteries, tractor beam, damage of fixed guns, higher penetration, more energy projection. With the death of all those pirates at the hand of Whiskermug, plus a targeted mining operation, we've been able to reach the required resources to build our Perambulator. Now it's not a... but it looks pretty perfect. She is fitted with 4 Mark II plasmas, 3 Mark I plasmas, 2 fixed plasmas, and 2 missile tubes, as well as the 2 Mark II engines. Bit slower than our previous ship, lot more fire. We'll be able to see where she has any deficiencies. And I think the speed will be the first major flaw. Well, not a flaw. You know, you get bigger, you have to get slower. Unless we want to strap a lot of boosters to the back. And we have 6 missiles in the tube. Today's mission sees us heading back to the Trade Guild space to pay them 10 iridium for a pass so that we can fly through their space unmolested by their bodyguards, who hate us because we landed on one of their planets against their advice, or against their directions more like. So let's head out there and see if we can't make friends. We've arrived in Locoan space, which is the Snake People, a single communication tower controlling the Flinger. But it seems to have had its data changed at some point in time. So maybe we should change it back to what it was originally at and see where this sends us. The tower comes to life, charged by the remaining energy in its batteries, and transmits a repeating transmission into the sky for a few minutes. Oh, the Flinger, yes, it's... Let's... Alright, we've arrived. Why would they have changed where the Flinger was shooting you? Survey team to a lunar. Ordinary looking moon has some titanium on the surface due to meteor deposits. This system is not very well traveled, so that's why they're there. They would have already been collected. An enormous cruiser has been sitting on the surface of this temperate world for some time, judging by the trees and plants growing on its hull. Surprisingly, it is not a derelict. The energy signature is normal, and a number of its systems are powered. When the team approaches, a group of scaly bipeds come toward their position. After a lengthy dialogue, Ensign Triton explains that this vessel was one of many groups of refugees to flee the post-Empire conflicts. They were lucky in having the engineering skills to redirect a nearby Flinger temporarily and reach this remote system. They are now concerned that the Flinger is directed here. It is only a matter of time before Locoan, Devout, or others seize their vessel. Yeah, they're hiding. We would offer you gold from our defunct engines and let you examine our ship systems if you would promise to redirect the Flinger back away from our refuge. We can do that. We are most grateful. Once you've changed the Flinger's coordinates, it will be most inconvenient to return here, so we will make good on our end of the bargain now and trust you to uphold yours. They've given us some research point. Let's head back to that planet and change the destination then. Just free gold. There's a nearby star though. So let's change it before the Snake People see it. Yeah. Oh, it's going to cost us reactor fuel. They didn't tell us that. Aww. So we traded some Chirolite for gold, basically. I would have preferred to keep that, but that's alright. It's pretty hard to come by. It's changed. And Locoans will not know where the people are. Snake People like to enslave others. Commander's log. Refugees in a remote system fleeing the Devout. We agreed to keep them isolated from others. But we are headed back to explore their region. Another receiver. Or burst relay. Rotation 173 would not have survived this long without the Sandbrains leaving food. The entrance is barely visible to the west. It's hard to tell how old these messages are, as there's no way to acknowledge the receiving. They might be just designed to send their message forever. Alright, so we've got a location. Ah. Evacuations are over here. Another cooked greenhouse planet. Put your suits on. This planet was recently home to some moderately complex life forms comparable to Earth. Phanerozoic era. Now it is blanketed in a heavy fog. What triggered the anomaly was the reading of a survey instrument labeled Station 9440. It's been too badly damaged by the atmosphere to be of any use. Well, enemy fighters inbound. Fighters and something else. Yeah, there's the something else. It's our Perambulator's first combat action. What is that? Ah! You have earned the attention of the Devout. What are they doing to us? Some purple mist has just completely crippled our ship. We are in a bad state. Very bad state. Ah, those purple missiles. We're in some serious danger now. I don't have the speed to get away. And we're being chewed up by beam weapons. We need to get out of here. We are cooked. We are cooked. The ship is handling terribly. We are in a very bad state, and it's because of those things. Whatever that is. I haven't even seen the ship launching at them at us yet. He's at standoff range. Point defense weapons are too good. Taking down our missiles before we could do any damage. We need to get closer to this weapon. Alright. We're having serious energy issues as well. I think we have too many turrets. Or we need another generator. On the stat screen, the energy draw didn't look too bad, but this is bad. But I do think it's this weapon damaging my system somehow. Whew. Glorious reactor explosion. We need to check. It's a frigate. A missile frigate. We are not maneuverable enough to get around that cloud safely. So when we get back to dry dock, we're going to need more energy, and we're going to need more engines. More thrust. Two of our crew members critically injured. Yeah, we need some lateral thrusters on this thing to be able to get around the clouds. And we can't stop in time. We've got to power through it. This frigate is very potent. It's got beam weapons and standoff weapons. But it doesn't have any point defense, it's just using its beam weapon to do that. We can kill it. Still lost a crewman. Oh, so close. We were able to tank a lot of that beam weapon damage, but it got through. That was a hard fight. He nearly got us. He nearly got us. I mean, the ship is sturdy, but man, we took a beating. Decaying isotopes mark the unmistakable epitaph of a late industrial civilization. It seems that this universe too, some civilizations snuff themselves out just before they are capable of spreading to the stars. While none of the culprits survived, nature is making a rapid comeback. Rhea estimates that the next civilization should be ready for another go in roughly 2.5 million years. We're on our way to the evacuation zone. It's going to be a long flight. We don't have any meals on board, sorry. Got a derelict out here in the void. This vessel is unremarkable, probably a long-distance cargo hauler. Several modules have been forcibly removed, possibly as a result of damage. The type space forces the team to move slowly in single file. As Ensign Cygnus Lee approaches the engineering section, a previously unnoticed hatch slams shut, cutting them off from the rest of the team. A radio signal breaks into the team's channel, delivering a crudely translated message. Your comrade is now our guest. Place 10 units of titanium in the delivery thing if you wish to unfurl them. The delivery thing is presumably a small receptacle located near the hatch. No! Triton makes a convincing case to the team that we're unable to pay the ransom, and since they cannot pay, it would be better to have nothing than nothing and an enemy. The unseen captors can find no fault in this logic, remotely freeing Cygnus Lee. After negotiations are complete, Glees has an opportunity to examine the delivery. Well, no one else can be trapped, and we picked up some Etherin from that. The gas giants rarely have anything useful. The pyramid on this world is disappearing into a thick jungle and blends in well with the low volcanic mountains that surround it. It also shows signs of an orderly evacuation. The team searches for a nearby observation point in hopes of recovering some Tyraelite. Perk sets the lander down, and soon after approaching the ruins, they are approached by what at first glance appears to be a Devout, who beckons them. But Ensign Triton observes they lack the ritual markings, so the team warily follows the alien inside a cave-like dwelling within a buried Empire structure. Others of the same species are present. Welcome, alien beings. It has been over 3 generations since visitors have come. We are out of practice in the art of hospitality. As you can see, we are not overly encumbered with summoned objects, but still retain the wisdom of our ancestors, which we will gladly share. Are you devout or heretics? Your speaking enchantment is difficult for me to understand. I believe you refer to the believers and the academics? This distinction did not exist when we left. We only learned of it from later visitors. Our ancestors saw the cracks forming in the Empire. It was clear to them that the magic would soon be lost. Those who still depended on it would die. They unlearned their spells and relearned new ones. Well, you look like a devout to me. And the heretics, I assume. While the Empire called many kinds its children, ours were the heirs of magical practice. There was no exclusion. Any could be found in any way. When we left, we had tusk-faced fur fighters and But our kind preferred magical studies. There is too much to know besides fickle magic of empire. We can teach you the patiently learned knowledge of the heavens, the subtleties of life, or the patterns of nature. This is the custom of our hospitality. Oh, let's go for knowledge of the heavens, I think. The tutelage is intense and brief. Surprisingly, it consists mostly of guided meditation, but the results speak for themselves. After returning their Starcom aptitude protocol scores, they were off the charts. Well, she's got up to 10 astroscience now. And that helps with skill checks observing things. It's another automated factory, very similar to the one that was producing Red Raiders that we shut down. It was producing something until it was deactivated not long ago. There's still some refined titanium and yttrium in the hoppers. Glees thinks that if they reactivate the production controller, it would confirm whether this factory was also building for the Red Raiders. Yeah, we failed. Little difficulty getting the control systems back online. The machines work quickly, and a fully formed attack ship takes shape. Glees tries to stop the system, but it takes longer than they expected, and soon the team finds itself in a badly mismatched... Fortunately, the ship's locking clamps let us escape. Okay. So it seems we inadvertently stumbled on another Red Raider base, and we will take it out. I'm not too sure if the production facility is taken down because we did fail that skill check. Thus far, the missiles have been pretty useless. I think we might even have room for another gun on the front of this ship once we have more research to upgrade. But even with all this extra firepower, it took a while to do that. What is that? Oh, we've got another remnant. I didn't even notice. Talk about blind. It's one of those Talonian artifacts we discovered in the last episode. This one seems to be in worse shape. Not much in the way of resources, unfortunately. Last time I collected a fair few valuable resources. But we do need that iridium to buy a trade guild. Marking the position of this fragment in case it is useful later. And we have a heretic portal to go through. Been thrown far to the south. Frozen gases lead to more iridium. Our bro Whisker Mug is here. Inside the pyramid, the team finds the floors and walls caked with a thick layer of black carbon, deposited so long ago, solidified into a charcoal-like bark. A thorough search finds the same material all over the interior surfaces. Most of the equipment shows severe heat damage, although an antenna array embedded within the pyramid is still intact. The heat must have been less intense in the lower levels. Some partially dismantled equipment in the sub-basement survived. There are signs that a large device has been removed shortly before the heat event. One blackened case was left behind. What is it? The Black Sphere. This strange cannonball-like sized object is able to cause any sentient entity to forget about its existence. We don't know why. In fact, we forgot we were even... There's not much left in this system. We will head out towards guild space again. We do like to get distracted a little bit. We're like a space dog. As soon as we see something interesting, we run off and follow it. We've going to try and talk to these gas cloud creatures. We had no way of communicating with them before. Maybe that's changed. We have a cargo hold full of artifacts. The lander is only able to penetrate. Oh, okay, so they communicate using a subtle coloured wisps of fog, much like our own fog machine. With the device, we're able to communicate. Deep in the shadow of the burning moon. Deep in the shadow of the burning moon. Deep in the shadow, very deep. Deep in the shadow of the burning moon. All burn but us. Sadness. The traders bring the suns too close. So, it didn't mean much to us. But that looks like a burning moon. Yeah, there's a lot of loose ends. I have a lot of active quests in my log, but with no discernible way how to finish them. This place, we got so wrecked here. Our crew got so destroyed. Like this. Trying to find aluminium on the surface of a corrupted and corroded planet. Let's keep going anyway. 5 iridium, but more damage. $80 aluminium, but everybody damaged, and Cygnus Lee almost killed by the look of it. The floor gives way, dropping the crew several meters into the corrosive fog. Alright, we'll have to come back to finish that off, because everyone is hurt. Everyone. Except Alex Triton. He didn't bother helping at all. It's going to take some time for our command crew to heal. Yeah, the shadow of the burning moon, I figured that out. But then what? Yeah, I know, I saw that. It was a burning moon. It was pretty obvious, but there was nothing there to investigate. Thanks for your help, Cassie. But not much help. I wasn't very happy with the missiles, so we're going to try and use swarm missiles to see if that will let us land a hit or two. They are shot down pretty easily. And we'll go for the Trinity warhead, so we get 3 warheads. And then change the missile type to swarm, and we should get 6 missiles that split into 3. After spending a day in the med bay, we've come back to the corrosive planet to finish it off. And that was a much better result. Gold, platinum, silver, and copper. Alright. The Lakoans are watching us scavenge their planets. The autopilot is freaking out. Just go already, man. We want to merge behind you. Thank you. Snake Drive. We've reached the borders of Lakoan space. When we make the next jump, we will be in guild space. Which means that we will have lots of guys trying to kill us because we don't have the correct credentials. Alright, here we go. We have to find the trade guild master and buy a pass before these guys kill us. I want green plasma. Why can't I have green plasma? Well, not that way. I don't want it shot at me. Alright, here we go. The guild mastership. We desperately need better engines. Or more of them. Greetings, alien being. Do you have the iridium we require? Yes, please give us the pass. It's a pleasure doing business with you. You are now permitted to freely raid all our planets. Give us information about the Devout for 1 iridium, or the Emir race for 1 iridium. Formerly regional enforcers of the Empire, since its fall they have divided into mercenary factions. The ones in our employ were formerly 2nd Imperial Legion. Other factions can be found in the employ of those with lesser means. And the Devout are an evolution of a religious movement that began during the late fall of the Fallen Empire. In recent years they've become more aggressive with their outreach. To curtail their conversion of our trade regions, we have had to institute the pass system. We must sell access to our trade region to any faction that has not instigated hostilities with us, and the Devout have not. Charter grants us exclusive right to buy artifacts as well. Oh, so we can sell our artifacts to them. We can recoup that iridium cost. We could buy a brass joint. It cost me a lot, but I have enough now to buy this brass joint, and I think that goes with our other brass piece we found. I think they will be the key to those large megastructures. Inspecting the brass joint. Apparently indestructible. Maybe it's all part of a suit. And let's explore their planets now that they've given us permission to do so. Moderate-sized colony nestled around a crater lagoon. Guild compliance officer verifies our guild codes. Team is permitted to visit the administration office. Alright, we want to learn more about your colony, please. Like many, we are the survivors of the Fallen Empire. Over 128 years ago, a Nemoan merchant built a supply outpost in this lagoon. Since then, this has grown into the most successful trade operation within 16 sectors. We would like to be more self-sufficient with food production. This used to be a popular spot in the Empire, so naturally it was carefully cultivated. Anything we try to grow here can't possibly compete with Imperial engineered flora, which is beautiful, hardy, but useless. Traders know this and charge us exorbitantly for food. Several sectors where the Emir have operated previously have been converted by the Devout, who provide their own security services. The Second Legion have lost several of their most lucrative contracts to the Devout. Not that I object to the Devout, I'm not a believer myself, but we have no prejudices here. That guy was just diplomatically saying that he thinks the Devout are going to take over the universe, I think. Alright, so nothing can kill Imperial fauna. It's so good, so well engineered. And we find a spaceship through a blinding sandstorm. Eventually, with a bit of luck, Perk spies some dark shapes in the swirling dust. The anomaly is a half-buried collection of temples and stupas. Within the structure, pictographs tell a confused tale of pilgrims charged with carrying a dead star containing the bones of a god to be buried for the god's return. Pursued by false prophets, they were forced to flee, leaving the altar to the bones behind. The glyphs leave no clue as to where they went. Oh, we got some smelly appliance. Convert algae to food. Suction device. A portable desalinization plant capable of 2,000 liters a day of salty goodness transferred and transported. Scans show the internal structure of this object. Another world of the Fallen Empire. There are no obvious signs of conflict or looting, but the structures are empty of technology and resources, just miles of dusty corridors and chambers. Uranium beneath the surface? Fortunately too deep for us to access. Nice and safe in guild space now that we have a pass. Casually exploring. Survey team. Two familiar sights sit in juxtaposition. A crafted stone pyramid and a massive sterile structure of the Fallen Empire looming over it. Despite the large technological, there are some architecturals. The Empire buildings are, as always, cavernous, dusty, and empty, although the sheer scale makes an exhaustive search impractical. The pyramid is slightly less empty. Its chambers are mostly bare, with some scattered debris indicating that either a hasty departure or perhaps some post-departure looting. One hall has some machines, apparently ripped from the wall to strip away wiring. We've found a device though. Taking a few hours, but the end result is workmanlike. The computers are interesting, composed of small electromagnetic relays that have a minuscule fraction of computing power in a single crew member's survival suit. But they're clearly meant for something. Once powered up, they begin transmitting a seemingly random sequence of numbers to an external device. Uh-oh. Did we just activate a beacon? We activated something. Someone's being told something. Here we go. Alien Pagan, your vessel was detected near the source of a heretic signal. Reveal their location immediately. This guy has a Devout symbol tattooed on his head. We were just looking at anomalies, bro. A ship with the same energy signature was reported investigating sacred artifacts. Disable your weapons and engine systems and surrender your vessel. Okay. Really? Hold on, this is my first surrender. I'm not sure what to do. Cygnus Lee, that's it. I'm taking command under Section 37B Tactical Authorization. Attention, I am now the commander of the ship. What? Did I do wrong? Cygnus Lee relieved Chadicus from command following a bizarre command decision to surrender the Venerator to a hostile force. Ree found no medical explanation for the lapse and consequently was forced to detain Commander Chadicus. I liked how it punished me for being cheeky and just giving the ship up. Alright, so the guy's back. Alien Pagan give us their location. We were just looking at an anomaly, bro. It's probably just a coincidence. Refuse the demand. Oh, don't want to surrender. As expected, the Pagan refuses. So now he's going to fight us. Why is no one else helping? Guys. Help. No one cares that we're having a brawl. We have just observed you being harassed by Devout ships. They have avoided direct conflict within this region until now. Yeah, we're being attacked, mate. They are searching heretics and demand to seize our ship. Nah. They're brainwashed, me, or perhaps mind-controlled. Yes, they wouldn't do it on purpose. We are known for our tactical skills, bravery, and loyalty. They want to help. How peculiar. I wonder why the Devout would think that of us. Our contract permits us to take on other contracts that are not in conflict with our primary. Perhaps you want to hire us to fight these Devout with you? Isn't it already your job? Neither you nor the Devout are full guild members. We must refer private disputes to the Trade Guild, who have directed us not to intervene. The guild is not predisposed to them, and they are giving the guild a very good price. It sounds like you want us to pay to solve your problem. How much? The absolute minimum we could be hired to counter the Devout is 100 units of copper. Well, let's negotiate. Alright, so we've offered a counter contract for 120 units of copper to help them help us. Yes, we agree to hire you for 100 copper, and then you can hire us for 120 copper. And that should all work out. What the hell? Okay, we agree to hire you for 100 copper. Excellent. This will be a mutually rewarding contract. And here is the agreed upon fee for your assistance. So we paid 100, he gave us 120 back. Nice profit. And we honestly didn't need the help, but maybe they'll fight them all the time now. The guild has informed us that the Devout have purchased many code authorizations since our arrangement. There may be more to... So let's push through to the other side and leave guild space. Greetings, smooth and unfamiliar creature. You are in Kyrnan space. Explain your presence. We're from Starcom, peaceful explorers. We've recently learned from our agents that our rivals, the Nemoans, may have sent a spy into our territory to probe for weaknesses. Perhaps the timing of your arrival is coincidental? No spy would readily admit to their fact being a spy. Unlike the Nemoan, we do not attack without good reason. If you give us no cause to believe you a spy, we will treat you peacefully. Do you know about the Devout? Yes, academics turned inquisitors of the Empire. They were the first cracks in the foundations. They have attempted to make converts of us, but our mind is too strong for their weakness. Your questions reveal much about you. Your species must have only just reached the stars recently not to know about this common history. They claim to pursue peaceful shared space, but in shared space they maneuver strategically to control vital resources. The Nemoans then threaten us with these resources unless they're So the remnants are the remaining great artifacts of the fallen empire. These guys hate the Nemoans, whoever they are, and they might be in active war with them. They think we're dumb for not knowing any of this. The empire kept peace within civilized regions, and their technologies were like sorcerer to the young worlds. So they were very powerful. And then there was some like... The remnants must be the people that tried to keep the fallen empire going, and they built the pyramids, but they had lost so much technology that it was like cavemen building skyscrapers. It's a pretty active system, this one. The planet is pockmarked with ruins of a pre-industrial civilization that appears to have died out due to natural changes in their sun's energy output. What is interesting is that the culture shows signs of a regular alien contact or even trade, but did not progress beyond late Bronze Age equivalent. Most surviving texts describe them as gods. The gods dropped their swords and left their chariots and headed at once for the sunken islands, where a caravan of merchants came upon these. They were astounded by what they had found. To the tribes that they went upon the chariots and told them, "Look, we are gods, fear and worship us." The tribes knew only gods could wield these weapons, and so they worshipped them. I mean, if they were Bronze Age, any alien coming from space would have been like a god, so we're not sure. It was probably the Trade Guild, maybe? The Great Traders? Here's an interesting planet here. Primordial. It's a new one. An unusually powerful seismic event has created deep localized fractures in this planet's crust. Numerous shafts provide access to deep lava tubes near where sensors detect veins of molten copper. Glees thinks that they can cut precision holes with mining lasers to pull the copper. Perks believes that the plan is too much risk for the reward, and sonar mapping of the tubes will allow the team to find the copper. The process of mapping is slow, but in the end, Perks is able to identify some copper. Not as exciting as I was hoping from a cool looking planet. Not cool, if you know what I mean. According to the logs, this hydrogen harvester was abandoned when its anti-grav started to fail. The last few modules have yet to give up the ghost, leaving it floating delicately on a density transition layer. We could salvage the yttrium for weapons, we could salvage gold from the engines, we could salvage etherin from the bridge. Etherin is the most expensive one. Let's try and get that. Success! The team successfully extracts the resources without critical damage. Oh, we can do it. We can take the gold too. The yttrium is valuable for weaponry, and we failed. The load of the last of it about to enter the lander, and the ominous creaking of the engines failing as the ship descends into the gas giant, to be crushed by the immense pressure. That's the most exciting thing to happen on a gas giant for us. Arriving in a new unexplored system, deep within Kyrnan space, I think? No, we're in Nemoan space now. An old freighter sits in a former lava plain. Technologically, the ship is unremarkable, using a slow reaction drive. The one distinctive and interesting feature is that it's been retrofitted with an unusual control system that Rhea speculates is an interface allowing for single control. They put on the helmet and try to power it up, giving out a loud shout of pain and slumping down. apparently, James Rea's neurology couldn't hold up. I don't know why I thought that'd be a good idea. Guess my curiosity just got the better of me. Yeah, putting on an alien headset. Your species and ship markings are unfamiliar to us. You are in Nemoan space. Explain your intentions. We are peaceful explorers. Peaceful worlds may belie sinister intent. What is your disposition towards the Kyrnan herd? Alright, so they don't like the Kyrnan. Oh, that's right, they're at war with them. So the cat people are at war with the whatever the hell the other people were. We are neutral. The Kyrnan have used neutral agents before. If you wish to demonstrate friendship, perhaps you could do us a favor. We have lost a contact with one of our diplomatic vessels and its escort. We are reluctant to mobilize the full fleet to search, as we suspect the Kyrnan are looking for a pretext to attack. We're going to help them find this diplomatic ship. So we have to go and buy the information from the guild. It's not in our nature to hate, but since the Empire fell, the Kyrnan have sought to exploit the power vacuum. First they claim to protect weak territories, then those protected territories become their own, and so they expand, pushing against our border. They are well... Commander's log, this is Nemoan space. Space cats they are. They're at war with a nearby race, who I am unable to describe. We have pushed deep into foreign territory and we have met a few new empires this time. It seems that there is a greater catastrophe going on, like there's war everywhere. All the empires are scrambling for power to try and fill the place of the fallen empire. And now they're remnants. If you would like to know what else is going to happen in Starcom, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe as we head down to this seemingly paradise-filled planet. And we've managed to capture ourselves some creatures for study. Until the next episode, I'm Commander Tyrael, this is the Venerator. See you then.